Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Wednesday. Happy Wednesday, Winning Wisdom Wednesday, if you will. If you are tuning in, be sure to let me know that you are so I can speak with you. Trying to get it set up on Instagram that I'm live. But hello, everybody. Welcome to Wednesday. We are halfway through the week, and I am here to talk today about doing a little bit of a chaos audit. So, I wanted to kind of talk about this because it kind of came up during my devotional this morning that I have realized the pattern. And you know just as well as I do that we as human beings are habit creatures of habit. And so what I was assessing at the time was the fact that I realized that it takes some time for my mind, my belief, and my action to really align when I decide that I want to go after something. And so based off of that assessment, I have noticed a trend in my mindset, my belief system, and when I decide to take action. And now that I know that trend, and now that I've made that proper observation, as a person who is very heavy on their personal development and somebody who is also, a business owner, a CEO of their own company, it is eye opening that I was able to make this assessment and determine that, okay, these are the changes that we have to make. So the best way for you to fail is to fail fast and to fail forward, right? And I have had numerous amounts of failures on my journey. Trust me, I've had several. You all may not know about all of them, but I have had my share. And still to this day end up having some. But the thing about it is, I've never been scared to actually try. I've never been scared to actually give things a chance and actually pursue things that I may have interest in, whether or not I do them successfully or I actually fail at them. And so, what I've noticed, like I said today, is there is a little bit of a lag between my mindset, between my belief system, and between me actually taking action on things. And so because of that, hey Marlo, so because of that, I have to do a little bit of a reassessment. And for those of you that may be watching, you may notice that your business may feel a little bit harder right now than it actually has to be. And one of the things that you can do is to also do the same assessment that I did as well too. And so what you're going to be looking at is three different bottlenecks that I'm going to talk about here on the live today that you need to properly assess. And these really can apply to your life or your business. It really doesn't matter. You can use them in both areas. You all know that I'm very much so a holistic approach person. And so where you need to start at for your first bottleneck, of course, is your mindset, right? And I know that it seems cliche to always talk about mindset, but people like to downplay mindset on the internet like it's not a real thing. And I'm here to tell you, like, it's probably 90% of why you're not where you are. And so, based off my own assessment today, when I was looking at my mindset and I was looking at patterns, when I read back old journals, notebooks, and just replayed like some things in my mind that I had told myself previously, I noticed that it literally takes me the timeline of about a year for me to say what it is in my mind that I want to do. Hey, Makita, say what it is in my mind that I want to do, actually start to believe that I want to do that thing and that I'm capable of that thing. And then for me to actually start taking action on it. It's about a year. And that is a hard gut punch for me because I'm like, I like to move through things fairly quickly, but I also know everything doesn't move as fast. Some stuff you have to tough it out and some stuff you have to be a muscle with, right? And so based off of that, I was like, wow, if I could shorten the timeline that it actually takes for me to, one, recognize that I want to do, be, have all of these things, right? but also believe that I can do, be, have all of these things. And then lastly, actually take action on doing, being, and having these things, because it's a threefold process, right? It takes me a year. And so if I can figure out how to shrink that timeline down, I can move at the quantum speed that we like to talk about so much across the internet, right? And I was like, while a year is not bad to actually execute an idea, actually bring an idea into fruition, execute it, and take action upon it, it's not bad. But when I think about everything that I have said repeatedly, I feel like I could do better. And that's just my personal assessment. Somebody may be watching this saying that I'm being a little hard on myself, but that's just my personal assessment. And I'm asking you to do your own personal assessment as well, too. So your first bottleneck is most certainly your mindset. And one of the things that triggered to let me know that this was a consistent pattern was the fact that when I went back and read my journals, and when I replayed several things that I have said, and even when I went back and looked at some of my social media posts, I was like, dang, I said this 2-3 years ago. And usually, given the fact that I'm a business strategist, a business psychologist, there are trends and things that I'm looking at repeatedly to see if, or see what's actually like trending, if you will, like what is going on in the industry, if you will. And so my job is to notice those trends, and to notice that repetition, and to notice when things are, showing up. And so in this particular assessment, like I said, what I noticed was, what the trigger was, some of the same things that I would say the year before, or even the year before that, or even within the same year, they just kept coming up repeatedly. And I remember praying a prayer that said, God, help me remember the thing that you told me to do last, like, because for whatever reason, it seems like I'm forgetting to do it. It's like I know what I need to do, but like it's not clear. So like my prayers have been like, help me remember the thing, right? And so I started realizing that actually those little nudges of recognizing, like, hey, I said this before. Hey, I wrote this down before. Hey, I posted about this before, was actually like those little nudges that I was praying for God to be like, hey, let me remind you that this is what the thing that I said you were supposed to be doing is, or this is what the thing that we said we were going to work on together is, right? And so I was like, okay, when I look back at the results of my execution and how I have relieved myself from having to be in such a realm of chaos, I literally had to give myself credit, because it was an assessment of me looking and actually seeing that the things that I have said that I have wanted to do over the past 2 to 3 years, for sure, probably can go back at least 5. But I know the things that I have said that I wanted to do over the last 2 or 3 years, I have most definitely brought them into fruition. And it's days like your low days. It's days like when your mental battles seem a little bit tougher than the other. It's days where you feel like you haven't made a lot of progress. It's days where you feel like you're just not getting anything done and you really just need to lay down and take a nap. It's those days where you have to recognize that these things are happening so you can continue to push forward. Because ideally, you have been able to definitely accomplish some of those things that you are saying that you want to do, right? And so because of that, you need to learn how to give yourself credit. You need to learn how to really document what it is your process is, document what it is that you're saying that you're wanting to do, document what your wins are when they actually come forth, so you can know what's actually occurring and has occurred, and what has been repetitive in terms of what you have been reminding yourself of doing on a regular basis, if that makes sense. And so that's part one of the chaos audit. Part two, since we're talking about business, is going to be most people that I had spoken with when I went live Monday. Most people that I had spoken with, they have had some form of operational discourse that is causing their business to not be where they want it to be. And so because of that, they are realizing that business is a lot harder than it has to be because they have not taken the time to operationally set up their back end for success. And you all know that this is something that I talk about on a fairly regular basis. I talk about this all the time. It is very imperative that you take the time to set up the back end of your business for success. Because when you don't do that, start to bring chaos that doesn't necessarily have to be there. And so when you take the time to do a proper assessment about what it is that you need, and you know what you need to go and plug in into your back end. Let me see if I can close some of these tabs because I think they're slowing the thing down. Hold on just a second. Hold on just a second. Let me close out some of these so the computer can stop acting like it's overloaded. I got a million tabs open. Okay, so maybe that'll help. And if you are tuned in, make sure that you let me know that you're here. Go ahead and speak and share with me in the comments, and let me know what you're thinking about today's live so far. Okay, so okay, going back to what I said, part two of the chaos audit is recognizing what your operational infrastructure needs to be. And in most cases, when you're looking at your operational infrastructure, you have to realize what type of business model you have, what vision you have, what it is that you're selling, how you're selling it, and how to market it in order to know what operational systems you need to put in place to help support you as a business owner and create less chaos, the least amount of chaos possible, right? And so once you are able to do that, you are able to properly create a customer experience and a customer journey, and also internal processes and operations that are able to support you as a business owner versus you just doing everything like on the fly and you just doing everything like kind of on a whim. It puts you in a better state of knowing what you're doing and where you're expending your energy. Recently I had decided, which I haven't really made the full announcement yet, but recently I have decided that I'm making some changes in my business model because I know for a fact that I don't really want to do client facing work anymore. Right? I want to change that to be more of a recurring revenue model. I talked about going one to many, doing a one to many approach where I can touch more people at a time versus one to one. I don't really want to do one to one coaching anymore. And so I have determined that whatever I do going forward, especially after this month, is always going to be focused on something that's related to a one to many approach. And it's always going to be focused on something that's probably going to be attached to a recurring revenue model and or a big contract or project. And that's just what I see it being. In most cases, when it comes to like small business coaching and consulting, I'm not going to be doing it really anymore. The closest thing that you'll be able to get to that will be some form of a membership that I will have available, which I've been working on in the background. Some form of a cohort that may be a part of a partnership that I have with another organization that I'm partnering with. But those are going to be the closest access points that you have to receive coaching because I won't be doing coaching anymore. Right. And so because I'm realizing what my energetic capacity is and what that operational infrastructure actually looks like to support that, I'm able to make the necessary changes that I need to make in real time to be able to shift that over. And the thing is, it's not as hard for me to be able to make those shifts or to be able to re-strategize for that perspective because I've already built that muscle over several years, right? If you're on my email list, well, lately I haven't been emailing, but if you're on my email list, you got emails frequently from me. So I have my email marketing set up in case something happens to my social media. I have a way to contact my people and reach them. I have a way to announce transitions and changes without me having to necessarily get on social media. I have a way offline for offline strategy for me to go and accomplish things that I need to do that does not necessarily require social media. And some of those shifts and changes in my business model and the way I want to approach things is going to be centered around spending more time on those things and less time on the things that I feel like are energetically zapping me. And continuing to make sure that I build a business model that is centered around that. So, as a small business owner, two bottlenecks that we have discussed already, one being mindset, two being your operational infrastructure. If you are not understanding what your operational infrastructure needs to be for your business model, you need to be asking a professional like myself or somebody at SCORE or whoever your nearest business organization is to help you figure that out, because I guarantee you that you are shooting yourself in the foot and making things more difficult because you lack understanding as to what your business model is and how you need to approach leveraging that business model, if you will. So those are two things, right? Those are two things. And so your third thing is going to be, I'm going to definitely say, like, your marketing and your visibility. We have gotten so reliant on leveraging social media for everything that we have to do, to the point to where we have forgotten that the world is a real world. And so I like to always invite in the thought process behind what business really is and what it really isn't. Social media business is way different than real world business. They are not the same. But I am somebody who has developed the capability to be able to speak languages in both lanes. And so I know how to bring them together, and I know how to mesh the strategies together to make them make sense in both the real world and the social media world. And that requires a different level of skill that everybody does not have, because a lot of people do not have a realistic world window of what small business is supposed to look like in the real world. And because of that, they get on social media thinking that the way that they're operating and doing business, hey Sandra, the way that they're operating and doing business is real world business. But then when they step off into the real world to try to take on realistic world projects and opportunities and try to bring those strategies into it, it doesn't always go the way that they desire for it to go, because, like I said, real world business is different than social media business. They're two different playing fields and two different platforms. They require two different mindset strategies, operational infrastructures, whatever it is. Like, they require pretty much different from each other, right? So you need somebody like an advisor, you need somebody like a strategist, you need a coach, you need a consultant, you need somebody to help you understand the importance and the differences between the two, so you can learn how to leverage your business in each one of the playing fields and you're not leaving anything on the table. And so between those three bottlenecks that I have mentioned in this chaos audit, I guarantee you it's probably at least one, if not all three, that you are facing currently in your business right now. And what I'm here to tell you is that there's really no reason for you to be facing any of those, and you can start to make progress on improving each and every one of those today. If you just take a 30 minutes to an hour to look at what your assessment is, where you're lacking, what you need to improve on, and then actually reach out and get the help that you need to get. Because at this point, if you haven't done it on your own, you need professional help. And you need to figure out how you're going to afford that and pay for that. There's no more skipping around. There's no more, I'm just going to go to YouTube and figure it out. No, it's not. No, you're not, because you haven't done it yet, right? So free is fine until free can't help you anymore, right? But for those of us that have content, for those of us that have made ourselves available to say, like, hey, these are how you do these things, you need to be locking in with those people to get the proper assistance. Or if that's me, slide in my DM and let me know that you're wanting help with this. But those three bottlenecks, your mindset, your operational infrastructure, and your visibility and your marketing, those are three areas that are very, very important to business, because one, your mindset is going to put you in a position for you to even believe that you could do half of the things, if not all of the things that you want to do. We always talk about be, do, have, right? Two, your operational infrastructure is going to show pretty much the health of your business. It's going to reflect some of the health of your business. Your revenue, your financials are truly the health of your business, but your operations are more so, we'll call it like the heartbeat, right? So when you think about the heart, if the heart is too clogged up with like cholesterol and bad stuff that you have in your arteries, it does not function in the way that it's supposed to. Also, if the heart is not getting enough blood flow for it to function in the way that it needs, meaning that we're fueling it with the things that are necessary to help our business function and our body function, it's not going to flow correctly either. So those are things that you need to consider for both of those, right? And then lastly, your visibility and your marketing. Your visibility and your marketing is going to play a role into what your financial health looks like. And I know a lot of people sometimes may feel like they don't really go hand in hand. I've seen content around it. I've even heard people kind of say like they're a little bit separate, but there are a lot of people that still have the mindset and the frame of mind that they feel like that they're supposed to make this certain amount of dollars without actually putting effort into their visibility and their marketing. And there's only two ways that you can really do that, right? It's either you're going to actually show up organically and do that and create your marketing and visibility strategies, or you're going to leverage your income and run ads. There really is no other way for you to get the type of visibility and marketing that you need to constantly get eyes on your business. And the thing is, like I discussed on Monday, you have to get used to being an omni-channeled business. You can't just be in one place doing one thing and just relying on that one thing to always work out or come through for you. That's not how it works. And I'm not talking about necessarily being stretched out across all these social media platforms either. You need to figure out, based off of your vision that you have for your business, your operational infrastructure, your business model, and what it is that you're selling, you need to figure out where these people are. If you can't figure out where the people are, figure out who you can partner with that they have an audience of these people that you can get in front of and already leverage the trust factor that they have in the partnership and use that to your advantage to start building your audience. There's nothing wrong with you making money off other people's audiences. Okay, if that's what you need to kick off, your thing that you're doing. But you're going to have to do one of those, if not all of those, at some point in your business journey. And that, again, will help cut down on some of the chaos that you may be experiencing, some of the feelings that you may be experiencing behind why business may seem hard. Those are some quick 3 pointers that I could give you to, again, do that proper assessment, like I mentioned at the beginning, but also how do you start to solve it? How do you start to get headed in the right direction? And how do you start to take advantage of more for your business so you can grow and have the success that you want to? Because again, you're not going to be able to hit the numbers that you want if you're not getting enough eyeballs on your business, but also if you're not getting enough people into the avenues and the things that you want them to go into. You have to direct them somewhere. And ideally, somewhere really needs to be somewhere that is off of social media, right? Hey, Arnitris. Hey, lady, this is what I've been leaning more into. Where are my partners with audiences, people that need my services? Listen, I'm telling you, it is a game changer. It is definitely something that I wish more people would actually take advantage of, because usually when you're starting from scratch or when you're starting from, the beginning, or even in your tenure, say you have been in business for a while, it's okay for you to leverage teamwork and partnerships of people for you to go and present your offers or your products in front of, but understanding that the reason that it probably should go well, if they already have a very trustworthy and well-built audience and community, the reason that it would go well is because that person is vouching for you and that community trusts that person. So ideally, they're going to end up trusting you too, because you're being presented in front of them. And also, this is just a great business strategy to have anyway, right? I'm not saying rely on it completely for your flow, your cash flow of your business, because no. But I am definitely saying that everybody that has a business should figure out how they can build a teamwork or partnership strategy into their business, because you can leverage it and use it to your advantage to grow your business and getting in front of even more people that weren't necessarily already in your audience. It's just an opportunity for you to get new eyes, which obviously can turn into new leads. And we're not saying that everybody that puts eyes on your business is going to end up being a new lead, but we do ideally feel like and know that based off a certain number of eyeballs, you should be able to convert a certain number of those into just being leads and welcoming them into your own audience as well too. So these are ways that you can try to take the hardship out of your business, if you will. And like I said, do that chaos audit. Because like I said, when I had that revelation this morning about the amount of time that it takes me to actually do, the amount of time it actually takes for me to think about something, put my belief in something, and then actually execute that thing is literally a year. And I got to shorten that timeline now because that's too long. And that's really like leaning into unapologetically, like boldly going after something that I really want to go after. But if you find yourself constantly repeating, like saying certain things that you want to have or that you want to do in your life or your business, I'm telling you, those are the small reminders from God that are constantly telling you, hey, like, remember we're supposed to be doing this. Remember you said you wanted to do this. And like I said, my prayer had been, God, remind me of the thing that you told me to do in case I missed it. Because sometimes I miss signs. Like I miss signs from God quite a bit. And it's not because my discernment is terrible. It's because I literally am that person. I'm that spiritual girl that I need a lot. Like I need very clear signs. Sometimes I don't always pick up on everything, right? But my prayers are always, if I miss something, God, send it back to me. Send it back to me so I can remember what it is and so I can reposition what I'm supposed to be doing and what I was supposed to be doing all along. And that's okay. And in most cases, you'll get it sent back to you. I know for me, like I said, I have found myself posting something, saying something, writing something repeatedly, but every time I posted it, I said it and I wrote it, it felt like it was a brand new idea. And that let me know that was God sending it to me like, hey, remember you said this? I know that's what it was. And that's just how, I feel in my spiritual journey, right? But like I said, if you find yourself constantly repeating those things and you find yourself like constantly saying those things over and over again, and you're like, dang, I did say that. Those are the things that you should be doing. Those are the things you should be working on. Those are the things that you should be shifting to. And I'm just going to challenge you based off of this audit. Once you complete it, I'm going to challenge you to one, come and tell me what results you have gotten based off of this audit. It's a quick something that you can do. Probably should take you only about 30 minutes. And then based off of that, get professional help. So if I'm the professional that you need to assist you in ironing out whatever it is you need to iron out, cool, let's talk. If I'm not, then I hope you find somebody that is well aligned to get the services that you need so you can. But that's all I wanted to talk about today, was making sure that you took the time to actually do that, because those are the things that are really making your business so much harder than what it has to be. Hey, Clyde. And I really don't want you to continue to be on that journey if you don't have to. So take advantage of the tips that I gave you here today, and I'll see you all on the next slide.